What is going on, guys? Welcome to a new series to the channel. You guys have been asking for something like this based on because I am from Detroit. I am from Michigan. So here we go. Detroit Lions franchise coming to the channel. Hope you guys are going to enjoy this thing because if you guys can tell, we are already in week number 8. I did not play any of these games. These are all force advanced and forced wins and losses, of course, to match what the Detroit Lions are doing in real life. So we are 3-3, beating the Dolphins in week number 7. And I'm going to get into what this series is in just a second, but basically I want to tell you guys what the process was and how I got here to week number 8. So basically what I wanted to do in this series was not start from week number 1 or the preseason, because all that stuff's already happened, right? It's not very interesting. You know, it's not interesting to see how, you know, the Lions under my reign or tenure would do, or what decisions I would make to get them started for week number 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, right? It's just, we've already hashed that out. We've already seen it in real life, right? So basically this series is starting at week number 8. And what this series is every Monday we're going to be having an upload on my channel and Slacker Gaming's channel. So if you guys have not gone to check him out, please do. I've checked out his stuff for a couple months now, and it's pretty good. It's pretty good stuff. I would highly recommend his content. Does a lot of Call of Duty, live streams, PUBG. If you guys are into that, into the shooter stuff, which most of you guys are not. Most of you guys are here for the sports style of gameplay. And my dog actually just jumped in, so if he does squeak his squeaker, then I apologize. But it's doing it in one take, but it is what it is. For those of you guys who are dads and moms of puppies and dogs, and there you go. So, all right, back on topic here. So, his channel is really all centered around sports and first-person shooter, but mostly he does a lot of sports stuff, a lot of live streaming with shooter. And his sports stuff's pretty good. Does a lot of rebuilds. Has a Kansas Jayhawk franchise not franchise, but dynasty going on right now. And obviously, that's who he's going to be in this series is the hometown Kansas City Chiefs. So I thought that this was cool because obviously, being a Michigander and being a Detroit Lion fan, this just works out, right? I wanted to be able to bring Detroit to you guys in a franchise, in a series. And I haven't done anything Detroit since the Detroit Tigers I did last season for MLB The Show 18. And it's kind of cool. There's that squeak. Wrigley. My dog's name is Wrigley. I'll show you guys photos of him. He's going to actually make an appearance in the NCAA football series. We're going to have a new thing called the Wrigley Picks. So basically we're going to have him like go to a bowl. And yeah, it'd be kind of fun to get that going. So, be kind of fun. If you guys lose in your picks to a dog, then I don't know what to tell you. But so, like I was saying, it's pretty cool because he's from Kansas. He's from, you know, he's a big time Kansas City Chiefs guy. So it makes it's cool because potentially, if we do things right, if we play our cards right, you might see a Lions Chiefs Super Bowl in this series. So, is it going to happen this year? I don't know. He's definitely got the better team, the better overall type of players at the helm for him. So, we'll have to see how this pans out. But, okay, so for this episode, I'm basically going to overview and project forward how I think the real-life Lions are going to do, what I'm going to do for the Detroit Lions in this series, and then I'll show you guys the sliders. And basically, every Monday at about noon or 1 o'clock, we're both going to be uploading our Monday videos, so our episodes of this series. So you guys will see his, if you guys go to subscribe to him, and you'll see mine if you guys are obviously subscribed to mine. So that's how that's going to work. So every Monday at 1 or 2 or noon or 1 o'clock, that's how we're going to run this baby. So let's get into the Detroit Lions preview of the roster. You guys are well aware of how the team is performing right now and what they're doing wrong, what they need to work on, and honestly, they're improving. They're definitely improving. The defense, though, is not the strong suit, which is actually pretty comical because Patricia is a defensive guy, right? So obviously, the offensive line was totally revamped in the last couple of seasons. They acquired TJ Lane and Rick Wagner before last season, and yet the offensive line just couldn't really come through. Taylor Decker was a early round draft pick out of Ohio State, Graham Glasgow out of Michigan, and we actually have Frank Ragnow here, who played center at Arkansas, who, by the way, guys, never allowed a single sack in his Arkansas career. That's crazy. That's totally crazy. And even in the preseason of this year for 2018 for the Detroit Lions, didn't allow a hurry on Matthew Stafford. So obviously he can play center. I'm not sure that Graham Glasgow is the answer for us at center in the future. We might need to focus on maybe getting another left guard in here or another guard type, because when we look at this line, TJ Lane is like an 8 and 9 year pro, right? He's not going to last for forever. Rick Wagner, you know, he's a little bit younger, but you know, he's solid out there at the right tackle position. Taylor Decker is going to be hopefully a franchise type of tackle. We just got to see how that's going to work out. But like I said, guys, guard might be an issue long term, and hopefully Graham Glasgow can take that next step. But I don't know if he's able to. Right? He might be a career type of backup in real life. So we got Glasgow. We can play as a bench role. We can get Ragnow over here at center. Possibly draft a center. We got to focus on possibly drafting or addressing this in the future, because again, this right side is a little bit on the older side compared to the left. So when we look at the offense, the offensive skill positions, Matthew Stafford obviously leads the way. Nick Bellore at 61 overall as a fullback. Kerryon Johnson. This is updated roster, so this is not default. So this is actually the official EA rosters. And I think I'm going to up Kerryon Johnson to about an 80. I think that's really where he needs to be right now. He's just killing it right now. Last 3 weeks, right? I mean, he's one of the league leaders in rushing right now. I mean, he's a really good player. He's a dynamic player for the Lions right now. And LeGarrette Blount being an 82, you know, I get it. Theo Riddick being an 82, I might have to lower that down a little bit too, because these guys aren't utilized. They're just not utilized enough to warrant those types of ratings, in my opinion. So the offense is actually pretty solid for Detroit. Golden Tate, obviously. Kenny Galladay at an 83, who's really stepping up to be a good performer for Detroit. Marvin Jones, an 87. So we got some weapons, and you guys are well aware of this because the Lions are actually starting to score some points under Jim Bob Cooter, which not a lot of people anticipated based on what they were doing last season and moving into the first couple weeks of this season, right? So they're definitely starting to turn the corner offensively, starting to put up a lot of points against Green Bay, New England, now Miami. So a team that can definitely score some points and give them a chance every single week, right? I did pick up Malcolm Mitchell, and I've always been a Malcolm Mitchell fan. I think that compared to TJ Jones, I'm going to take Malcolm Mitchell, right? I just am. I love me some Malcolm Mitchell. I hope that he can help us out in 4 wide receiver sets. Maybe if there's an injury or something, it's just good to have some depth. I also signed David Fales because the Lions actually have 2 quarterbacks on their roster, Stafford and Matt Castle. And in this game, David Fales is rated higher. And out of San Jose State, David Fales was actually a pretty good quarterback out there. And I just have liked him. He's always been an accurate type of quarterback, and I just appreciate his game. So you guys can see him there. He looks pretty sweet in that Honolulu blue with the black sleeve. I like David Fales. All right, so let's talk about the defense now. We need to talk about this defense because the defense it's a work in progress. It really, really is. It's not completed yet, right? The Patricia defense right now for Detroit is a work in progress. We got to get some draft picks in here. We got to get a little bit younger, especially when we're looking at the linebacking position. We got Christian Jones, Jalen Reeves-Maybin, Jared Davis, Devon Kennard. Like, these are pretty solid players, but they're not pushing the needle, right? They're not helping us to get to an elite status, right? So I know that Tavon Wilson can play some strong safety. Quandre Diggs can actually start to come down a little bit and possibly play in that 3-4 scheme. But we need more pieces. We definitely need more pieces on this defense, and I'm eyeing linebacker in this year's draft for sure. Possibly getting a guy like Devin Bush out of Michigan. We'll just have to see how that all pans out. Defensive backfield is probably the strong suit for this team. Defensive line and defensive and the linebackers here are just not a strength at all. So we do have to focus on pass rush and run defense. But pass defense is actually pretty solid. We got Tracy Walker III, who's actually cousins to Darius Slay, which is actually a fun little tidbit there. But Glover Quinn, obviously the catalyst out there on in the safety position here with Quandre Diggs and Tavon Wilson. Both of these players are not getting any younger either, so we might need to focus on getting another defensive back in the future. That's probably why they decided to go after Tracy Walker. Darius Slay, obviously one of the best players on this team, an 89 overall right now. I'd probably get him to a 90. I'd probably push him up to a 90, and actually we can do that once we upgrade him. But Teez Tabor doesn't look like he's gonna make it as a number 2 corner. Honestly, he's probably gonna be more like a nickel back or a dime back, and or just basically some depth. LeBlanc actually got called up from the practice squad, so I'm actually interested to see how he performed against Miami in real life. I don't know his statistics quite yet, but it's kind of cool to see that they gave him a nice little rating there at 73 from the practice squad. So we'll just have to see how he performs in real life. I'm actually anxious to see. I'm anxious to see that with the Jamal Agnew injury, and he's out for the year. That's going to be tough. Nevin Lawson at a 77. That might be a little high in my opinion for Nevin Lawson, but it is what it is. Deshaun Hand, a good pick out of Alabama, applying some pressure at that left end spot. Sean Williams and Ashawn Robinson leading the way at defensive tackle, the nose tackle per se, and Ezekiel Ansah at an 83, Kerry Hyder at 72. So again, with Ansah, it's kind of like the Tyler Eifert effect, guys. Injured way too often. We're paying him a lot of money. I like guys that are durable. I like guys that come in and that they can play. You know, I don't like paying guys to sit on the bench, especially when you're going to be asking to get. If you're getting hurt, we gotta get Kerry Hyder Jr. in there, who actually had a pretty good season in his first full year as a pro, but then he's had some injury trouble too. So obviously, defensive line, linebackers, major issue for the team, and that's where we're really going to focus on in the draft and in free agency as well. So overall, I think that going forward, when we look at the Lions' schedule here, and I'm just going to pop this open here real quick, you guys will see that there were forced wins. So the scores, please don't mind the scores. This is just the CPU saying it's doing everything possible to make sure that the team that you said that you want to win is going to win. So we can see a 42-0 loss against Jimmy G and the 49ers. Loss here against the Jets, 41 points, which is actually kind of correct. The Patriots 45-14. That's not reasonable, but you guys get the idea. Okay, so we're 3-3. I did not go through and force victories or losses here for other teams. So the CPU teams that are controlled, this would have taken forever, right? And then so much cross-referencing and making sure that you're dotting your I's and crossing your T's here to make sure that everything is lining up with how the standings are in real life. That would have taken forever, and honestly, Slacker and I do not have that kind of time. So just decided to focus on our two teams and get the win-loss record to the point at which it makes sense for matching with real life. So looking against the Seahawks here, Vikings, Bears, Panthers. This is a tough schedule here, guys. But the cool thing is that we get the Seahawks at home, Panthers at home, and the Rams at home, right? We do have to go on the road against the Cupcake Cardinals and Bills, which actually kind of helps us out, but the Panthers are not going to be easy. The Rams are definitely not going to be easy. That Todd Gurley and Jared Goff connection thing going on, Brandon Cooks as well, Robert Woods. I mean, this team is legit, and I don't think the Lions can really handle that right now. Could be wrong, but we'll just have to see. Russell Wilson doesn't really have a lot of offensive weapons, so this game could be close. I don't think the Lions are going to blow this team out by any means. So watch out for that this coming Sunday. So actually, we'll have the gameplay of the Seahawks on Monday for the Monday upload, so you guys will all know what the heck the Lions did in this game. And going forward, we'll know exactly what the outcomes were before Monday anyway. These Thursday games, we'll have to decide on how we're gonna do that. But going forward, I think Detroit is looking like possibly, if it all holds up, if it's chalk the whole way through, they look to be like they're going to be an 8-8 team. And when I look at this loss to the Jets, the loss to the 49ers, the loss to the Cowboys, these two games were close. The Cowboys and the 49ers were really close. The Jets, I don't know what that was. I have no idea what that was. And I even made a video about it. Like, this was totally an anomaly. I have no idea what was happening in that game. But that loss, this loss, these two close losses here, and this blowout, I think might cost them a playoff spot if they can't get it. If they get it done with all these other games, and they go 8-8, and they miss the playoffs by a game. I mean, hindsight's always 20/20, but it's really going to hurt them, and I think they might be able to use that as motivation going into the next season. We'll just have to see. I won't really go over Slacker and his Kansas City Chiefs. I don't want to steal his thunder, so make sure you guys go check out his channel, and it will be in a card at the very end of the video. Sliders, I got to show you guys these. This is on All Pro. So All Madden, it's weird, and for those of you guys that are in the Madden community, you guys are well aware of this, that All Pro seems like it's too easy, and All Madden seems like it's impossible. And the sliders that I play with in the Bengals franchise is on All Pro, and it's actually it's pretty tough. So I'm actually looking forward to playing on All Pro and making it a little bit easier on myself, because ultimately, guys, this franchise series is realistic enough, right? We want this one to be super entertaining and super fun and just basically just pretty lighthearted, right? We'll make trades. We'll do some crazy stuff. I think that, you know, it's going to be more of a fun, laid-back type of break with Madden versus the Bengals thing that I have going on, which is like trying to be super serious about the decisions that we make and so on and so forth. But this will be fun, and I think playing on All Pro and looking at the sliders here, you know, we're not making it super easy on ourselves, but you know, we're toning things down a little bit and kind of helping the CPU with the run blocking. Quarterbacks, we're tired of quarterbacks going 20 for 20, so notch that CPU skill down a little bit, because there's, like I said in that NCAA video, guys, if you've seen the slider test that I did for that, there's always somebody open on every single play. It's just up to the CPU to just find him, really. You know, nobody ever shuts anybody down officially. So that's the slider set right there. This is open to be changed. We'll just have to see how everybody plays. And I think mostly me, because Slacker, with this type of offense that he's got going for the Chiefs, he's in a good spot, right? Because no matter what, if the sliders work for him, if he's scoring a ton of points, then nobody's going to complain, right? But if I'm scoring a bunch of points with the Lions, you know, people are probably going to start complaining. We might have to tone those sliders down. So that's going to be it for this episode, guys. Card in the description. Sorry, card is it's right here to the upper right, and link to the channel for Slacker is in the description. So make sure you guys go check his video out. We'll see you guys on Monday for the first game against the Seahawks, and I believe he's got a game here against the Broncos at home. So we're both at home. It'll be interesting to see how everybody does. So that's going to be it, guys. I hope you guys like this episode and are excited for this franchise series to get underway. We'll see you guys on Monday. As always, peace.